Do the cash walk, do the cash walk. Hey, I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your collar, twist your wrist, do the cash walk. I'm dropping dollars while you're wishing on a scratch off. My hollow mama list, she just hit the jackpot. I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your collar, twist your wrist, do the cash walk. I'm dropping dollars while you're wishing on a scratch off. My hollow mama list, she just hit the jackpot. I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your
The Minor Details, episode 14 already, and my co-host, Pete Pitts, The Walking Dead, 107 movies and TV shows, and an up-and-coming rapper that you just heard. Pete, welcome, buddy. It's episode 14.
Thank you, Danny Miner, the crime solver. It's an honor to be here. And I want to welcome all of you, citizens of the earth. This is an international podcast and show. This is your show, world, and this is episode 14 of The Minor Details, where we talk true crime, legal cases, news, entertainment, missing people, and even a little hint of paranormal activity. Isn't that right, Danny?
Pete, we do it all. And, other podcasts are like, I'm staying away from deportation. Not the minor details. Bring it on. I'm staying away from police brutality. Not the minor details. You'll hear everything here. We will do it all. We're not afraid of anything. For God's sake, Pete, somebody posted my address because they didn't like what I said yesterday. They posted my address on TikTok.
Danny, it's a shame. And, the haters should be ashamed of themselves. It's very disturbing what the links some people will go to try to tear someone down or to try to make someone's day worse because they're not succeeding. But guess what? They're not going to stop us, Danny. They're not going to.
I agree, Pete. Never, ever.
Danny, I'm checking the boards on Instagram here and welcoming all our viewers on Facebook as well as YouTube. We are a streaming podcast. We go live on 3 platforms, and we also post our show later on Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to your music. So welcome everyone on all platforms.
Yes, all platforms. Oh, and they're starting to join on Instagram, Pete.
Nice. Welcome everyone. This is your show. This is a show where everyone has a voice and every life matters. Together, Danny Miner and I are here to unravel the truth. Today's episode.
100%, Pete. And this episode, we're going to get some hate from this episode. I know we are. But let's just keep it calm, everybody. This is going to be hard topics to go over for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And welcome everyone. I see McBlue. I see Angela. I see the switchboards lighting up. And I just want to say that today our main case is going to be discussing the Rodney Hinton Jr. case, the vehicular homicide of Deputy Larry Henderson and Rodney's son, Ryan Hinton, who was shot and killed by a Cincinnati police officer. We're also talking about part 2 of our last week's episode, police brutality. So it's going to be a tie-in case where we're talking about some really controversial themes. But Danny, as a former law enforcement officer, is going to set the record straight and tell us exactly what should happen in these situations.
Yeah, Pete, and we got to go over a couple things before we get into the case. But I'm going to go over when police could use deadly force. When can a police officer shoot somebody? And I'm going to go over that from beginning to end so people understand when a police officer could use deadly force. Because there's some people out there, Pete, that believe the police shouldn't even be able to defend themselves. That's what's happening in our society. And Pete, I did a video this week where an entire police department quit and walked off the job. There is a town in New England now with no police. They all walked off the job.
Obviously, that's not the answer. During 2020, during the height of the George Floyd protests and the basically unrest protests of 2020, which were kind of a mix of emotional pent-up aggression, people mad at the pandemic, people mad at police brutality, and it was a combination of factors. But that's when I realized exactly what you said, Danny. And so we have a duty and an obligation to talk about these controversial themes because Danny and I are providing a service to the world. It's our goal to help make the world better. And I just want to ask you up front, Danny, before we get into our weekly highlights or anything, do you think that we in America and in the world have an issue of mental health care needing to be addressed?
Oh, without a doubt, Pete. And this is what I said. I got a lot of hate the other day online. this is what I said. The pandemic separated us. It separated all of us in 2020, and we've never came back from this. The hate has stayed. And Pete, it's not just, it's hate. It's hate. It's hate on both sides. And I'm not going to pick on Democrats. I'm not going to pick on Republicans because it's both. Last week, the Republicans hated me. This week, the Democrats hate me. I'm hated by everybody. No one likes me, Pete.
Well, you know what? I love you, brother. And I know a lot of people out there support. The love is always going to be greater than the hate. But I know what you mean, man. It's rough. But I do want to praise us really quick. And I want to thank everyone out there because today we hit 129 cities and 13 countries that we've been played in, that we've been downloaded in. And we just got downloaded 6 more times in Ireland this week.
Pete, and we got downloaded 6 times before the podcast came on today. It's insane. Thank you all for listening to me and Pete. I know you all like Pete and some of you hate me, but thank you for tuning in.
We'll take the views where we can get them. Even our haters tune in sometimes. And guess what? We've got love for them because this is a show where every voice matters and every life is important. Even if we can learn how not to be, that's what I'm learning from the haters. So I'm learning something from everyone. And here's a comment. Sometimes the truth hurts, but people need to hear it. Thank you for your comments. I respect.
And I'm going to tell you, people are going to hear it tonight and they're not going to like it. I can tell you that already. A lot of people aren't.
Danny, before we jump into our main themes today, let's talk about a couple of weekly highlights. First of all, day 12 of the Karen Reed murder trial took place today, and Karen spoke outside to reporters. Did you see her video? And do you want to tell listeners out there what you think?
Pete, here's the problem with Karen Reed. She's acting like she's a celebrity. Pete, I've never seen that before. Have you?
I've seen it with celebrities because I've worked on over 100 movies and TV shows, but to see it with a murder suspect, that's definitely a different viewing. She is acting like a celebrity here. She is very much liking the limelight, and that is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I never saw a defendant take interviews from the press. I never saw a defense attorney allow him to do it. Like, how is that defense attorney letting her talk to the press? It's insane. It's totally insane.
Yes, Danny, what I can say about the Karen Reed case is please go back and listen to our previous episode of The Minor Details, the Karen Reed case, where we share our opinions. I think there are a lot of suspicious facts in that case, especially the dog marks that looks like a dog attack that were on John O'Keefe, the murder victim. But go back to that episode, re-listen to that. I will say that I'm still not sure. I'm still undecided about what I think really happened because there's a lot of details that we, the public, don't know. But that's why we do the minor details, so we can unravel the truth.
I totally agree, Pete. Totally agree, 100%. So, Listen, do you have your entertainment spotlight tonight?
Yes, absolutely. So, Danny, I saw one of the coolest movies of my life Tuesday night. It was called The Accountant Part 2. Ben Affleck and John Barenthal, directed by Gavin O'Connor. The reason The Accountant 2 was so awesome, it's the sequel to the first movie I ever worked on, The Accountant, back in 2015, Danny. You have to see it.
Pete, you got to tell us about it.
Yeah, man. So for the entertainment spotlight, I just want to take a couple seconds to tell everyone about my very first time on a movie set. This was February, approximately 22nd, 2015. We had a call time of 7 p.m. They wanted me to play a upscale hotel guest. So I was decked to the nines, Danny. I had my suit. I had my ties. I was looking fly. I'm talking about fresh to death. And I showed up on that set. They put us all in a hotel suite for holding. And they told us, shh, be quiet. Don't say anything because this is an active hotel in Atlanta. It was like the nicest hotel in ATL. And so at almost 7.5 hours, I could not say a word. I stood there in my suit and tie. And then finally, they let me on set with Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick. And as soon as they let me on, it was like letting a little puppy out of the cage for a first time. I was ready to go, baby, and I fell in love with movies.
Dude, I'm telling you, I can't believe the people you've worked with. I seriously, Pete, and you know me, man. I mean, I love that you worked all these different shows. Oh, we lost Pete. We lost Pete. Pete.
I'm back. Yeah. I'm back.
All right, something happened there. You good?
Yeah, I'm good now. I was just visiting the citizens of other planets, but now I'm back with the citizens of Earth.
You're in the cloud. You were in the cloud for a little bit, but that's it.
I was in the cloud. So yes, to go see it. I want to mention one more entertainment spotlight. The Conjuring Part 4 just released a trailer that's called The Conjuring Last Rites. So shout out to all of our paranormal and scary movie fans and scary subject viewers, because I worked on The Conjuring Part 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. And let me tell you, Danny, it was a spooky set. It was blessed by a real priest on day one. Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, me, the entire cast and crew, we all prayed for that set. And it was a creepy set, man. Really.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I like the girl. I like the lady that plays, what's her name? The main character. I can't think of her name from the Amityville Horror, right?
Lorraine Warren is the character, the real life paranormal investigator, and she's portrayed by Vera Farmiga.
Yeah, Vera. That she was good. She played in she played in a series where, remember that where the guy owned the hotel and his mother was up in it. I can't think of his name now.
Now,
Psycho.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not talking about the Psycho, are you? Okay, yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, she played in a Psycho series where she was the mother, but she was alive. So it was before all the murders when she got into the wheelchair and he kept her. She was great. I started liking her as an actor there then.
I'm trying to think of that series, Bates Motel. That's the name of it.
Bates Motel. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, she's amazing, and she's really great on set. I had the privilege of actually reading lines with her when she was doing a phone call with Ed, her husband, Patrick Wilson. I'm sorry, she was calling the sheriff with her husband laying in a hospital bed, and I had to play the sheriff on the opposite side of the phone with Vera. So that was amazing acting with her off camera. Danny, it's been an honor being on these movies and TV shows. And I'll tell you what my friend Little White just said on my social media post that I just posted. He said the key to success is finding what you love, finding what your heart resonates with, and going after that, doing more of that thing that you love.
And that's exactly what we're doing.
Absolutely. So, Danny, before we jump into our missing persons, I want to just mention a couple pieces of news really quick. Pope Leo is the new Pope, the first Pope ever from the United States of America, 69-year-old Pope who was born in Chicago, Illinois.
Born in Chicago. Listen, I heard that the refrigerator Perry is going to be a security guard.
Yeah.
Listen, Chicago's got the Pope now. America's got the Pope now. Let's go.
Yeah. The first time an American has been a Pope, so it's a big deal for the papacy. The papacy is how you say the Pope title. It's kind of a weird word, but hey, we're here, baby. And one more thing I want to mention for our upcoming news. Right now, the markets are going crazy. I'm talking investments. A lot of you all know that I've been working down with Dave Ramsey down in Franklin, Tennessee. We're talking about financial freedom. We're talking about financial healing, being debt-free. And right now, if you have money in the markets, crypto, stocks, mutual funds, it's skyrocketing to all-time highs. So just a shout out to everyone. Danny, I know you and I talked about this before the show. We both want to be investing more, but I'm continually learning that putting your money to work is one of the best ways that you can produce income.
I agree. 100%, Pete.
Yes.
So are we almost ready to get into? Oh, we got the missing person, right?
We're almost ready, but right before we do the missing person spotlight, Danny, I want to ask, do you have something you want to say? Do you have something you want to rant about for a minute?
Yes. Now listen, Pete, I think we might have to make this a daily or a podcast minute. Okay, we're going to call it Danny's rant or Danny's minute. Okay, but give me 60 seconds here, America. I'm going to look directly at America, and I'm going to say to you, what are you doing? Have you lost your fucking mind, America? And I'm not saying Democrats. It's Democrats and Republicans, Pete. Democrats and Republicans. We had a lady make racist slurs at a black child that was 5 years old. He was 5. She ends up getting arrested, and they have a GoFundMe for her. She raises $500,000. Now she upped it to $1 million. So the white people are supporting her. Okay? Then 2 weeks ago, we had a black kid stab a white kid, kill him. And they got a GoFundMe for him and got his bail and got him out of jail. Now we're going to do this incident where a cop shot a kid and then they killed an innocent police officer that had nothing to do with this. And Pete, here's the shocking thing. There was women, and this is what shocked me. There was 40 and 50-year-old women in my comment, mothers, grandmothers, saying they're glad the cop was fucking killed. They said they were glad the cop was killed. These are women. Women in their 40s, 50s, nurses, teachers. Like, what the fuck happened to America? You are now supporting criminals. You're now bailing them out that kill innocent cops. This cop was 100% innocent. much innocent? 100. He had nothing to do with it. And they murdered this guy, and people fucking cheered. I'm sorry, I said I wasn't going to get mad, but I'm sorry, Pete. They murdered an innocent person, and the Democrats and the liberals fucking cheered. I said what I fucking said. Grow up, America. Grow the fuck up. Sorry, Pete.
Danny, I don't know what to say after that other than everyone go back and play that back because Danny spoke some facts and dropped the microphone on us right there.
Listen, here's the thing. It's both parties, Pete. Last week I was a fucking rhino, right? Last week the Republicans didn't like me because I called them out. Listen, you don't support 100% of anything. You cannot. If you support everything Donald Trump says, you're in a cult, like they said. If you support 100% of what somebody does, it's a cult. I support maybe 60% of what the man does. Maybe 60%. But that makes me a rhino. That makes me hate it. Because in this country now, Pete, you're either all in or they don't like you. You're either a Republican fully or they don't like you. You're either a Democrat fully or they don't like you. And it's to the point now, Pete, they don't give a fuck if you die. They're killing people over politics now. This is out of control. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't getting mad today. We're 5 minutes in. I'm pissed off already.
Danny, I appreciate your passion and your zeal, and you're absolutely right. What you just said, we are out of control. So let's elaborate about more of that on our main topic, but we have to move along. So I want to bring in our person spotlight, and then we're going to come back to this polarizing energy because you're speaking some real facts here, and I appreciate it. And the people need to hear this. People are being fair fans. They're changing like the wind blows. They need to hear Danny's raw, cold, hard truth. But really quick, let's talk about the missing persons spotlight. This is something that Danny and I do every week. Not only do we want to solve crimes and cases, we want to help find these people who are missing. And this week, actually starting on May 5th, it marked Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Awareness Day. Danny and I did a big podcast episode about this a few weeks ago when we talked about Emily Pike, who was missing in Arizona and was found later unalived. So Indigenous women are much more likely to be attacked and abused than other races, and they're also up to 10 times more likely to be murdered, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. This is insane. It has to stop. So May 5th through 9th, today and tomorrow, are designated as the week of action to honor these murdered and missing Indigenous women. So, Danny, it's a big topic, and I know you agree with this. I know you agree with the missing person spotlight.
100%. And listen, since I moved out to Nevada, you know, I have a lot of American Indian friends out here. We have a population out here. One lives right next to me. I have a neighbor that's American Indian. And they brought this up to me that they're overlooked. Their missing women are overlooked. And you know what? The Emily Pike case brought that into light to me. I realize they are 100% right. They are overlooked. And that's why we're doing this today, Pete.
Absolutely. And the Native American population only makes up about 2% of the United States of America's population. Out of all the cities of America where they are most likely found missing or murdered, it's Seattle, Washington is number one. There also a huge population is missing and unalived in Canada. So it's very sad. We have to bring awareness and take action by supporting, take action by donating to appropriate causes that you know are legitimate, or take action by supporting our podcast. Let's just jump into it. Our three missing people of the week are all Indigenous women. Number one is Rita Janelle Papaki, who went missing on January 16th, 2015 from Tama, Iowa. She was 5'4", about 200 pounds, and brown hair. Never seen from again.
Oh, my gosh. I got another one here too, Pete. Neva Lee Kingbird. She's missing since 2021 from Minnesota. They're classifying her as endangered missing. Okay, female, she would be now 18 years old, but she went missing at 15 years old. She's 5'4", 140 pounds. Folks, we're going to put this all up on our website. Please go over it and look at this.
Yes, absolutely. Danny, you just brought up a good subject to be aware of, that when people go missing, there are different classifications of them being missing. And what we are talking about are people primarily who are at the highest risk of being missing, meaning they're endangered or their lives might be in jeopardy or they cannot return home safely. We're not talking about willing runaways. So these are big and important topics. So if you see something, say something. If you saw something around these dates that we're talking about and you were in these areas, say something. Our third missing person spotlight today is Delema Lou Sitz-Poor, who went missing all the way back in 1974, February 4th, from Pine Ridge, South Dakota. At the time, she was 5'5". She was approximately 135 pounds. And even though this is a several decade old case, we still want to get the word out because it's possible she's a grandmother out there somewhere or a great grandmother. Some of these still be alive. We don't know for sure that they are unalive. So until they are, we're presuming that there's hope because we want to have hope for the world. So thank you for listening to our Missing Person Spotlight.
Yeah, Pete, just before we get off this, I did a video 4 days ago, Pete, where they found a woman that was missing for 63 years and she was found alive. I did a video 4 days ago. Is that crazy? Missing 63 years and found alive. So never, ever, ever give up hope. I know I won't.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. And everyone, please tune in to the Minor Details Facebook group where you can find the pictures of all of our missing persons. You can leave us comments and questions. And please tune in live to the show as we're talking about these big cases and these big subjects that we want your feedback on. We want your opinions. And Danny, with that being said, are you ready to jump into the main case?
I'm ready, and I know the comments are going to fly. But listen, we want your comments. I want to hear from you. Okay? I want to hear from you while you're supporting a guy that killed somebody. All right, the guy killed an innocent person, and you're putting my address out there because I'm sticking up for him. You're saying that he deserved it, and you're a 50-year-old woman that's a professional, and you're doing this. Like, would your job like that you do this? I mean, it's shocking to me, Pete. I'm sorry. I got to get off the rant.
No, Dan.
Oh, man.
That's why I said let's continue to elaborate it on the main subject because I know you're fired up right now. I want that energy and that passion to be portrayed through the microphone to the earbuds of listeners around the world because I want people to know that not all of us here in America are sitting around contributing to the problem. Not all of us are cheering and throwing our fists in the air when the bad guys win. Some of us are actually standing for the little people. Some of us are actually standing up to defend the rights and be the voice of the voiceless, those who can't speak and those who are unalive. Some of us are carrying their legacies on, and that's you and me.
Yes. And listen, I know it's not everybody. I know it's not all Democrats. I know it's not all Republicans, but it's the brainwashed ones. It's the 100% brainwashed Republicans. It's the 100% brainwashed Democrats. And I'm going to say something that really people are not going to like. CNN, MSNBC, and our news stations, they have blood on their hands. They have blood on their hands for these police officers that were killed because they're putting it in the fucking mind of these people. They are. Losing my voice even.
You're right, Danny. And as you recall, last week on our TikTok Live, we had Fox News pop into our TikTok Live. So the major news platforms are aware of us. And we are a threat to them probably because we're telling the truth where we're not just focused on an agenda to sell broadcasting. We're actually trying to get awareness out of the facts.
And you know what? They're doing this for ratings, okay? Because they know police. I mean, they know that people go nuts when police shoot somebody. They know it. So they're doing it for ratings. They're pushing it out there. They're making it sound horrible when it's not. They're doing anything they can do to fire up the crowd. And I'm telling you, our news media, and I'm sorry if people don't like it, they're the biggest enemy of our country right now. You can look at them every night on TV. Our news media is the biggest enemy of America because they're brainwashing everybody. It's out of control, man. It is totally out of control. Our media should be stopped. It should be stopped. This is bullshit. And that's why people are listening to podcasts, Pete. That's why they're listening to me and you because they don't trust these assholes anymore. I'm sorry, Pete. I'm out of control. And I said I wasn't going to be.
Hey, you said what you said, and I hear you, brother. I want to just bring the details up of this case so that way everyone who is not familiar with, as well as those who just know bits and pieces of the case, can get caught up. So let's talk about the details, and then after we go over this case, Danny, I'd like to bring you to talk about from an expert what law enforcement officers should have done in these situations, because we're kind of continuing on last week's episode of police brutality. We're talking about when has excessive force become excessive, or when is excessive force necessary to protect and serve the public.
Exactly. And I'll go over when you could be shot, when a police officer could shoot you, when he can't shoot you, okay, and how it progresses to deadly force.
Yes. So before we do that, let's jump into this case. So we're specifically talking about Cincinnati, Ohio. 18-year-old Ryan Hinton was shot and killed by a Cincinnati, Ohio police officer on May 1st, 2025. Police pulled up to a stolen vehicle. Within 6 seconds of them pulling up, the occupants of the vehicle ran out. One of those occupants was 18-year-old Ryan. He attempted to flee the scene, and the officer, it's caught on body cam, by the way, the officer shot him 2 shots and unalived him. 2 of the other suspects were arrested. One of the suspects fled the scene and was not caught, but Ryan was pronounced dead shortly after. Now, the cop said that they heard a metal clinking sound as Ryan fell from the car, and then he testified, he alleges that he saw Ryan pointing a gun at him, and then the police officer then discharged his weapon. So allegedly, this was a .40 caliber Glock Model 23 with an extended clip. Is that your understanding of the initial case so far, Danny?
Yes. And they found the gun, I believe, right?
I believe so, yes. So at first, I actually watched the video, and I could not clearly see a gun in Ryan's hand.
I'll admit that, too. I don't see a gun either. But a gun was... And listen, Pete, the only reason you have that extended clip, which is illegal, is because you want to shoot people. Okay? So don't think this kid was innocent. Okay? I'm so sick of people making these people being saints. They're not saints. He had a fucking gun. He had an extended clip. What do you think he was going to do? Go to the fucking movies? What do you think he was going to do? Quit being stupid, people. That's what's going on here. You're being stupid. Sorry, Pete.
Here in America, Danny, we have what's called innocent until proven guilty. And I'm pretty sure when you're jumping out of a stolen vehicle and you have a firearm in your hand and in your possession, you are now stepping onto the side of being proven guilty.
Right. And Pete, I just don't get people. Like, they see this. They're so brainwashed. They see this and they look for every fault on a cop. And you know what? These people, this cop has 6 seconds to make a fucking decision. He has 6 seconds to make a decision because if he doesn't make the right decision, it could cost him his life. But then he has people that sit behind their fucking TV that were never a hero a day in their life. All they do is be unemployed and eat food in front of the TV, and they're going to tell this cop he's wrong, okay? With their stains all over their undershirt. I said what I said. You've done nothing. You don't even know what a hero is, and you're judging that cop. I said what I said, and I knew this was going to happen tonight. I apologize. No, I don't apologize. This needs to be said because America's out of control. They're totally out of control.
I agree, Danny, all the way out of control. And hopefully we're going to help inspire and spark some order, and we can help inspire and ignite a flame of common sense and mental health and just an awareness of what's going on, because a lot of these people out here are just like The Walking Dead, a show that I played in. It's really happening out here in America. It's like The Walking Dead when you look at these people. Brain dead, man.
They're brain dead, Pete. And the comments, when we get off this, and anybody that's watching this, go watch I have 2 videos on this. Read the comments. And guys, it's 90% of the comments. It's not 50-50. 90% of it. If there's 1,000 comments, 980 are saying they're glad the cop was fucking killed. I mean, Pete, this is insane. This cop was directing traffic. He had nothing to do with this.
And Danny, let's stop right there and let all of our listeners and our viewers know a lot of people are misinformed about this case. They don't understand what happened. That was May 1st. On May 2nd, Ryan's father, 38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr., drove his vehicle directly into the body of another deputy officer from Hamilton County, Ohio, a deputy named Larry Henderson, who was a 57-year-old retired officer who was just moonlighting at that job for a special University of Cincinnati commencement ceremony. So, in other words, the father of Ryan, whose son was killed by an officer, took the life of another separate deputy that did not unalive his own son. So that's why I think a lot of these people who are commenting, oh, he deserved it or good. No, this was not even the cop who shot young Ryan. This was a different officer who had nothing to do with it at a whole different time and place.
So you realize out there the comments you're making, okay, this guy's a husband, a father, probably a grandfather, and you're cheering this? You're cheering this on? Look in the mirror, folks. You've gone over the fucking edge for the hate of Donald Trump that you are going to cheer a police officer being murdered. Look in the mirror. You lost your fucking mind, guys. You lost your mind. You really did.
So, Danny, I think that's what a lot of these people are, is just misinformed, because I can't imagine being in your right mind and knowing that 38-year-old Rodney murdered 57-year-old Deputy Henderson, and you're cheering it on knowing that Deputy Henderson did not do this crime. Surely they're misinformed, Danny, or I hope they are. But either way, like you said, America is in trouble. We're messed up.
America's in trouble. Pete, I don't know how we come back from this. Like, it is so bad right now. The hate on both sides is so bad. We are cheering people that are murdered. Look at me, everybody. You are cheering people that were murdered. You're happy they were murdered. This happens in other countries. This happens in third world countries. This is America. What the hell happened to us? What happened to us? It's ridiculous. Pete,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm so fired up. I'm trying to calm down. I really am. I've been fired up all week over this.
No, I appreciate it. And I think that the first step and the very first answer is awareness. We need to bring awareness of this to the world. We need to wake the world up because, like I said earlier, it's a bunch of Walking Dead zombies. I see Angela in the comments. She's up to episode 4 of The Walking Dead. So shout out to that show. We're talking about real life. It's like a real life Walking Dead here in America and across the world. And people are blind to the fact it's getting worse and worse. So before we talk about this case further, Danny, can we stop really quick? And can I just ask you, as a law enforcement officer, can you explain to myself, all the listeners and the viewers out there, if and what the officer at that scene of Ryan's shooting did correctly, and if or what he did incorrectly, if anything? Can you explain that from an officer's perspective?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see a gun in that video. So I'm going to be totally honest with you. I didn't see a gun. And I think it does have to be investigated, because if the kid was running and not shooting at them or not pointing a gun at them, he shouldn't have shot him. I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it doesn't fit my narrative, Pete. Okay? I'm going to tell you the truth because that's what I do. I didn't see a gun. I didn't see him point the gun. I'm not saying that didn't happen before the camera came on. You know, before we started seeing the video. I don't know. But what I do know is a gun was found at the scene. So 100% there was a gun found at the scene. And not only a gun, an illegal gun with an extended clip that you use for killing people. It's for use for killing people. Let's be honest here. Okay? He wasn't going to the sandbox and making sandcastles with his fucking friends, because that's what CNN will tell you. CNN will show him in a sandbox when he was 5 years old and say the cop killed him. CNN, MSNBC, you have blood on your fucking hands. You do. You do this every time. Trayvon Martin, you showed him as an 8-year-old kid, a 10-year-old kid. He was a 20-year-old kid, an 18, 20-year-old kid. They do it all the time. They do it to piss black people off. They do it to piss liberals off, and they ruin the country over this. You have ruined our country. I don't know if our country's ever coming back. Pete, I personally think within years, we are split. We are two countries. I don't know how we stay one country. I don't know how we stay one country. There's violence everywhere. Everybody hates everybody. Yeah, I don't know how we do it.
Danny, the comments are lighting up on the switchboard. I see on YouTube, William says, we lost our senses and our common decency. We need to put God back in the country. Imagine if we were a country, like it says on our currency, In God We Trust, that was more God-fearing and a country that relied on values and integrity and common sense even, or decency. But you're right. We're out of control, Danny. So back to the video, back to the shooting, and you're very well as a law enforcement officer. I just want to say one thing I heard and I read was that the other officer said in the audio, I see a gun. He's got a gun. But I also didn't.
But I'll be honest with you, Pete, even though the other officer seen the gun, you should have seen it. So I think he shot too quickly. If I'm given, like, I don't know all the facts, I'm not investigating this, but what I seen, he may have shot too quickly. Okay, but here's the thing. You're putting yourself in that situation. You're carrying a gun. You're acting like a thug. You're stealing cars. You're robbing people. I'm telling you, you live this lifestyle. Sooner or later, you die by that lifestyle. I've seen it. So you can act like a thug all you want, but then when somebody treats you like a thug, you're all upset about it. So you either want to be a thug or you want to be that person in the sandbox. What do you choose? Because the thug's going to end up dead. Okay? That's what's going to happen to the thug. Either killed by his friends or killed by the police. So grow the fuck up. Jesus.
So, Eddie, in just a couple minutes, I'm going to get into some stats and some facts about the Hinton family because it sounds to me like Ryan grew up predisposed to this life of crime. His father, Rodney, had a police record already, and his grandfather, Rodney Sr., also did. So it's sad. You're right. He obviously was guilty of stealing the car. For all of our viewers who are just tuning in, I see some people on the switchboards. We're talking about continuation of police brutality, and we're talking about the Rodney Hinton Jr. case in Cincinnati, Ohio. But we know for sure that young Ryan, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton, was at the scene of the crime. We know that a gun was alleged to be found. And like you and I both saw on the video, we did not see a gun ourselves. So I think I'm at the same point with you where I would say I think it needs to be investigated more. And I don't know that he shot, that it was justified for him to shoot Ryan and kill him. But now with that being said, does that mean it's justified for his dad to take the life of another officer? And if so, how far does that go? How far does the eye for an eye go until everyone is dead?
Exactly, Pete. What are we going to do? Just start killing people? We're just going to kill people. And I'm going to tell you this. I just read before we came on here, they're looking at giving him the death penalty. Just so you know. The death penalty is going to be part of this trial. And Pete, this is the other thing that this is doing. The media is doing. We had two people this week, and I can't think of the other case right now. We had two people this week found not guilty. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, two cases this week that people were found not guilty, that they were horrendous crimes. We had a kid kill his mother, 8 months later, kill his father, and the jury found them not guilty. Pete, we're at this point, these liberals are finding people not guilty. Our jury system's going to be fucked up. Okay? I don't know if the pink and purple hair dye got to them, but they're finding people not guilty. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. And I said what I said. I don't care who I offend. Okay? I don't care. I'm not a cop anymore. You can't cancel me. Okay? I'm going to have a mouthpiece for the rest of my life. So get used to it. Get used to it, because I ain't shutting up.
And someone just said in the comments, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I believe that's absolutely correct, because if we're just going to live on this model of, oh, he took the life of one of my family members, now I'm going to take their lives, or the life of one of their family members, and then they come back and take the life of another of my family members, and then on, that's such a destructive pattern. There has to be a better way. And it's tragic. It's tragic what happened with Ryan Hinton. 18 years old, his life was ended. Was he predisposed to crime? It sounds like it, because the very next day, his father, after seeing the body cam footage at the Cincinnati police station, 9:30 a.m., his father drove his vehicle directly into the body of Deputy Larry Henderson, who is a Cincinnati Hamilton County deputy in Hamilton County, Ohio. And he was just a 57-year-old man directing traffic. He had nothing to do with the shooting of Rodney's son. But Rodney had a criminal history. Rodney's dad had a criminal history beginning in 1985. So was young Ryan, at 18-year-old, predisposed to crime? Probably. It sounds like it. And is that a part of the problem that we're talking about? I'd say so. But is it the entire issue? Does it explain everything? No. We have to break down these dynamics and figure out what is the solution. How can we stop these patterns?
And Pete, you're 100% right. I keep going back to the media. Sooner or later this week, the media will show the grandfather, the father, and the kid in their communion outfits getting Holy Communion. Okay? That's what CNN and MSNBC will do. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling America, okay? It's not Donald Trump. It's not your Congress people. It's your media. Our media is ruining the country. Our media is brainwashing both sides, folks. They're doing it. I'm smart enough to see it. I have my own mind. Get your own mind. Listen to yourself. Don't listen to Don Lemon. Don't listen to all the other guys. Listen to yourself.
Absolutely, Danny. And I would like to invite...
And I'll debate any of them guys. Any of these CNN people, you want to debate Danny Miner? Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'll ruin you. You'll be crying when we get done with it. You'll be crying.
That's hilarious, because I was going to invite any CNN or any Fox News representative just to talk, but Danny's ready to throw down a debate, so let's bring it on. I'll
bring it on. I'll hear their little crying. Oh, they were such a good family. No, they weren't. They were a career criminal family. They weren't going to communion. They weren't playing in a sandbox. They had an extended clip that could kill people. And that's what it's for. Okay, so that's the facts. You want to tell different facts? Go ahead. But I tell the facts. And that's the facts.
Yes, absolutely. So, just a very brief recap: 18-year-old Ryan Hinton was shot and killed by Cincinnati PD while exiting a stolen vehicle. There was a firearm that he had on scene with an extended clip. The very next day, Ryan's 38-year-old father drove his vehicle and hit another separate deputy, a 57-year-old retired deputy, hit and killed him in what seems like an act of vengeance against his son's death. So that's a recap of the case. And Danny's talking about what a law enforcement officer would have done or could have done. Let's talk about what Rodney Hinton Jr. did, Danny, when he drove his car into Officer Larry Henderson, who is a upstanding member of the Cincinnati community. He's known as a great man around Cincinnati. Can you think, is there anything in the world that Officer Henderson could have done to avoid a speeding vehicle out of nowhere? He was directing traffic, right? There's probably nothing he could have done.
There's nothing he could have done. Oh, this just in. CNN said he dropped something, didn't see it, and hit the officer. CNN's reporting that. MSNBC's reporting that. That's the lies that come from these news. I mean, I'm making a joke here, but that's what happens. I'm just so sick of it, Pete. I'm so sick of it, and I'm sick of people believing it, Pete. I'm sick of them believing the lies, and they sit there like little animals taking it all in. Oh, look who they're saying. I'm eating it up. Look what he's saying. It's the media is brainwashing you people. You're cheering somebody that was murdered. You're happy somebody innocent person was murdered. Look into the fucking mirror, guys. Jesus.
So just to put this in different terms, the people that are cheering this on, the people that are saying that Rodney Hinton Jr.'s actions of taking that deputy's life were justified, let's put it in a different situation. Let's say that someone in my family was murdered and the murderer was, let's just say, a Hispanic person. And then I go and I take the life of another random Hispanic person instead. So that's the analogy I'm using in this scenario. Are we saying that that's what's justified, just to take the life of someone else's family because they take your family member? I mean, that to me is a ridiculous mentality, and it's obvious that there's mental issues going on. And like you already said, it's obvious that there's a history of crime and arrest in this family line that clearly has led these people to a very, very bad way of thinking, a very destructive habit pattern.
Pete, when you're taking statues down of heroes and you're putting statues up of crack addicts and criminals, your country has lost its mind. And that started years ago. We're taking hero statues down, and we're putting career druggie criminals statues up. And that's what's going on in America. And listen, I'm telling you, I don't care if you don't like what I'm saying, because I'm telling you the truth. And that's all I'm ever going to do. Okay? It's the truth. They're hate heroes. Cops are bad guys now. Criminals are heroes. Criminals are heroes. Cops are bad guys. That's what the news is going to tell you. And that's a fact.
You know, I work in entertainment, Danny, and in Hollywood, it's very often that a villain is romanticized or the villain is portrayed as in a glamorous way. But that's Hollywood, okay? In the real world, we have to understand that consequences have actions. And no, it's not right to take the life of someone else just because they do the same job as the person that took your son's life. That's not the same person. And I want to make it very abundantly clear for all of our listeners that the deputy who was killed, Deputy Larry Henderson from Hamilton County, Ohio, was not the same officer who shot 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Completely different officer. So get that through your heads, all of you guys who are saying, oh, this is a great thing that happened. Think about it. It's an innocent man.
Listen, and I hate to say this because I'm going to get hate for this, but the same thing with Luigi. We cheered when they murdered somebody. I get it. The healthcare worker was probably not a good guy. I get it. Healthcare workers aren't. People are dying because they can't get healthcare. You murdered somebody over this. He was murdered. Okay, when you murder somebody, there's no saying you're sorry. Okay, there's no saying you're sorry. We cannot do this in America. We can't do this. We are fallen. We are going down the drain. This country is fallen, folks. It's fallen, and it's fallen quick. This country is a powder cake, and it's ready to go off, Pete. This case might do it. This case might do it. This might be the powder cake. I'm serious. This might be it. It's out of control.
You're right. I want to invite everyone in the comments of all of our live viewers to please give us your questions and your comments. Please be respectful, but at the same time, you can be honest and open about what you think. William asks what type of gun it was. And just to reiterate, it was a Glock Model 23 with an extended clip that was allegedly found. And again, I and Danny, we did not see it in the video. So I don't know for sure that it was in Ryan's hand when he was shot. But the question is even bigger. Is an eye for an eye right? Is taking someone else's life because they took your son's life right? And Danny, did you see any of the court footage of Rodney Hinton Jr., the 38-year-old who did kill Deputy Henderson? Did you see him in court?
Oh, I expect anything of him. He's a career criminal. And that's what career criminals do. They're used to court. They're used to jail. The whole family is. We are cheering a career criminal family on. You nurses, you 50-year-old women in my comments, you are cheering a career criminal that killed an innocent man. Boy, your family should be proud of you. Them grandkids, they're going to really look up to you. Really. What a smart woman you are.
So
Jesus.
Danny, I want to elaborate on Rodney Hinton Jr.'s actions and his demeanor when he went into court. So there was a line of Deputy Henderson's friends and fellow officers lining the wall. And then when Rodney Hinton walked by, he looked at them in the eyes. He passed by and he said something about he is going to be gone forever. And so it was almost just like he's making a disrespectful final jab at the fellow officers, unless he's referring to his son being gone forever. Either way, his demeanor was definitely disrespectful, it seemed like to me. And then in the courtroom, Rodney's brother starts tapping on the glass when Rodney is facing the judge. A big outburst ensues where Rodney's turning around trying to talk to his brother. They get his brother out of there and they escort them both out. His brother's like, "No, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I just want my brother to see me." But basically, it's this big kind of disrespectful debacle where it shows that he's not even the least little bit repentant of what he just did. It seems like he's proud of it from his actions in court.
He 100% he's proud of it. And people are proud. Well, be really proud of it because you are never going to see the outside of that prison again. And they're talking about giving you the death penalty. Okay, so oh boy, you did it. You showed him. You showed everybody. You ruined your fucking life. You showed everybody. Pete, I can't take this stupidity anymore. Honest to God, it drives me nuts. I had trouble sleeping over this. I had trouble sleeping knowing that our country is falling like this, Pete. It makes me sick. It totally makes me sick.
Someone in the comments has said harsher juvenile penalties as a suggestion. I really think that education, understanding, and teaching and initial upbringing is most important. But when you think about it, a lot of these people, they don't have family to raise them, or definitely the right way. I mean, look at young 18-year-old Ryan. His dad had been to jail multiple times. His grandfather had been to prison and been to jail and been arrested multiple times. So what was he being taught? Or were they even around to teach him? Were they in and out of the system themselves? So the way that him and his brother acted in the courtroom was obviously indicative of what they've been taught and what they've been brainwashed and programmed to believe their whole lives.
I know, Pete. And you know, I just don't get it. I see the future of America, California, New York becoming their own countries. I see Texas I see these states separating. I don't know how we keep this going. We can't keep this going. Now people are being murdered over this, Pete. You know what I mean? We can't. This country is falling. It's going to end. We're going to separate. There's going to be two Americas. Mark my words. I just don't think we can keep this together. I just don't. I don't. Everybody hates everybody. I don't want to live in this country. This country's horrible anymore. It's horrible. And I never thought I'd say that.
Someone on Facebook just said there is no system anymore. So shout out to all of our Facebook listeners. Shout out to our Instagram and YouTube viewers. Please go join the Minor Details Facebook group. And also consider sponsoring us, as we are still an independent podcast. We're looking for sponsors so we can get the truth out. Now, Danny, we only have 10 minutes left or so.
We're going to have, I know with my language, we're going to have a hard time getting sponsors. I'll calm it down next week.
We're looking for sponsors that appreciate Danny's passion and his zealous enthusiasm for justice. That's what we're looking for. Like that, right? That sounds better.
Listen, here's the thing, Pete. I'm at the point of my life that I could say whatever I want, okay? Because there's nothing anybody could do to me, okay? And I want to tell the truth. I want people to know the truth. And the problem with America, Pete, we're afraid to tell the truth. We're afraid. People heard lies so much that when the truth is told, they don't like it. They want to hear the lies. America wants to hear the lies. They want to.
I think that we in America are we're spoon fed these lies so much from the beginning, and it becomes common practice and we become hungry for it until you see through the veil like Danny and I have. Now, Danny, as we have 10 minutes left, I want to talk about another case that I didn't mention. We were going to bring this up, but the shooting of Ryan Hinton in Cincinnati reminds me of another case that happened back in 2020 at the height of the George Floyd protests. This happened in Atlanta, Georgia, when I was actually out there demonstrating peacefully against not only police brutality, but racism and corruption and the pandemic. And we were standing against everything bad. And anyway, 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks fell asleep at a Wendy's drive-thru in south side of Atlanta. Police responded. They took him out of the car, gave him a sobriety test. They found out he was intoxicated. They went to place him under arrest. They already had his ID. They knew who he was. And he said, no, let me walk home. Please don't arrest me. Let me walk home. They said, no, you're under arrest. While they're trying to handcuff him, he grabs the officer's taser and he starts to run. Allegedly, he points the taser back at the officer, at which point the Atlanta police officer shoots him in the back 3 times and takes his life. This happened in the middle of the George Floyd protests, where the whole world, and particularly America, was protesting the brutal and unjust death by a police officer of George Floyd. So when this happened in Atlanta, that Wendy's got burnt down that night. I was there the very next day, and it became a memorial for Rayshard. I went to Rayshard's funeral. I do not think Rayshard should have been killed that night, but I wanted to ask you what you thought about that case. I know it was 5 years ago. You may or may not have remembered it, but I wanted to ask you what you thought, and as an officer, if you thought that that officer used appropriate actions.
Yeah, you know what, Pete? I'm really not familiar with it. I wish I was, but I'm not familiar with that. Could you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so just the brief facts are the officer was responding to a DWI in a parking lot. Rayshard Brooks
Okay.
asleep. He was drunk in his car, fell asleep at the Wendy's, ordering some food. The officers got him out of the car. They got his ID. They had his license. They knew who he was. And then they say, you're under arrest for public intoxication. He says, no, I want to walk home. And they say, no, you're under arrest. As soon as they go to handcuff him, he starts to run, but he grabs the taser from the officer's belt before he runs. He's running with the taser. The officer says he thought that he was going to tase him. So the officer shot Rayshard in the back 3 times, and he died instantly on the scene. So just for that alone, I guess my thoughts are, first of all, de-escalation. And as we only have about 7 minutes left in the episode, I told you earlier, we could do a 10-part series on police brutality because there's so much to talk about. But Danny, can you talk about, from that story, from the facts that I just gave you, do you think the officer could have de-escalated it more? And do you think that those de-escalation techniques can be useful and can be used to save people's lives?
Well, here's the thing. You're not going to die from a taser. Okay? That's the first thing. So, to me, justifying deadly force there is a no. You're not going to die from a taser. But you're going to be shocked when I say this. If a person has pepper spray and they could incapacitate you with that pepper spray and then they could kill you because you can't defend yourself. And there is case law on that where an officer is justified to shooting that guy because he could be incapacitated. But the taser, you're going to get shocked, you're going to fall down, you're not going to be incapacitated.
Well, I thank you for sharing that, Danny. I believe the officer was fired and he may or may not have been charged, but I just know that it was at the height of human discontentment. We were all pent up from the pandemic. We were all pissed off at seeing the George Floyd murder live on camera, and we were sick and tired of police brutality that had gone unanswered for decades, of corruption and unjust police tactics and actions. And as a former officer, I appreciate you being vulnerable in telling us what should have happened, even though you're saying sometimes you're saying that the officer was wrong, because they don't always do things correctly. They're just human beings. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. Every human being makes a mistake. So that's a field where you have a very, very low margin of error for making mistakes.
And this is something that's very important. We have 6 minutes left. This is something very important. Because of this, Pete, because of our America right now, the 2025 America, nobody wants to be a cop. Pete, we are so down cops here in Nevada. We can't get anybody. No, who would do this job? Like, who would do it? This job, I'd rather be a garbage man and have to pick the garbage up with my mouth before I'd be a cop. I would never be a cop now. You need your head examined because you end up in jail. You end up in some kind of political thing, and some politician will want you charged because they need votes to get elected. Okay? So some politician needs votes to get elected, and you might go to jail because of it. Okay? Because that's how our politicians are. If it's going to get them elected, you're going to jail. They're going to get you charged. They're going to do everything. That's the America we live in, folks. So really think twice. I recommend nobody being a cop. Nobody. In fact, all the officers, if I was you, I'd lay my badge down and walk right out the fucking door. I would. I'd walk right out the door tomorrow. They don't want you. Walk out. Let them do it on their own. You know what? I don't care. I'm trained. I have weapons here in my house. I'm trained. I don't give a shit. Walk off the job. Sorry, Pete.
Danny, you're definitely speaking to a lot of people right now. The comments are lighting up on all platforms. We have some different range of comments. As we only have about 4 minutes left, we'll get to a couple. Someone says, what's the latest on the tariffs? We can talk more about the news and the tariffs another time. But I
don't curse about it. Hey, we did have somebody from Scotland that says, don't worry, Danny, I curse way more than you. He was on Instagram.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And I do think that obviously there's some good things that could happen because of the tariffs and changes. But man, we're talking about this true crime case. We've only got 3 minutes left. Someone actually on Facebook asked me, what do I think about the new pope sweeping the molesting priest under the rug back in 2022? So this is something I have no idea about, Danny.
Ooh, that's something we can look into. I didn't know that either.
All I know that is if anyone is affiliated with trafficking, sex crimes, molesting, abuse, they're despicable and they need to be punished. That's all I know. And that's all I'll say about that. I don't know anything about that specific case. But Danny, we only have a couple minutes left. So as we're wrapping up, I want to ask you, what would you have done? I want to put you in the shoes of Rodney Hinton Jr. What would you have done if you got the phone call saying your child has been shot and killed by a police officer?
And listen, I was honest with people because people were DMing me, Pete, and saying, what if this was your child? People were DMing me. And this is what I said to them. I surely wouldn't kill an innocent person. Okay? That's the first thing. I wouldn't see the first person and decide I'm going to kill him. Okay? Because that's not right. I would want to go to the police station. I'd demand to see the video. I would hire an attorney. I would be furious. So if you're asking me, look at me. I get furious over everything. I'd be at that fucking police department's door, and I would be wanting demanding answers. But I surely wouldn't kill an innocent person that was directing traffic. I surely wouldn't do that. But I guess that's where we're at in America. We kill innocent people, and we fucking cheer it on.
Well, I appreciate the honest answer, Danny, because I wanted to hear that. And I knew it would be something along those lines because not only are you a passionate person and you're emotional, of course, you'd be pissed off, so would I, but you're also being realistic and you don't want to throw your own life away or take other innocent lives because you have mental health. You're not out there. And what can we do, Danny, is my last question before I start to wrap it up. What do you think we can do? What steps can we take as a former law enforcement officer to improve the state of America, the way that people are thinking, the brainwashed mentality and these terrible behaviors? Is there anything that you can think of that we can do right now starting today?
I'm going to be totally honest with you. No, we're done. We are done as a country. I hate to be like this, Pete. These people are so brainwashed. There's no bringing them back. This country's done. I hate to say it's done. We are cooked. We are cooked as a country. These liberals are so brainwashed. We're not coming back from this. We are not coming back from this. I hate to say we're not. I know good people that believe this way. They used to be normal, and now they're not normal anymore. They're brainwashed. So I hate to say this. I hate to be a Debbie Downer. No, we're done. We're cooked. There's nothing we can do because no one's going to believe it. They're going to hate cops forever. It's done. We're done. I hate to say that, Pete.
Well, Danny, I always appreciate your honesty, brother, and I appreciate your opinion. I value your opinion. Danny thinks that we are done in America. I'm going to keep trying to keep hope alive, and I'm going to keep trying to find a way. But I don't know. Danny could be correct. However, I'm going to keep holding on to finding some way to try to get better and improve. So as we conclude this episode 14 of the Minor Details, we would like to thank everyone for taking your time to tune in. Thank you for all the comments that we have not gotten to yet. Go over to the Minor Details Facebook page and leave those comments or questions. We'll try to respond to all of them in a timely manner. And again, please subscribe, follow, like, and share on all platforms. I'm now going to turn it over to Danny Minor, the crime solver, to close our show.
The only thing I'm going to say is I apologize to Pete, okay? But here's the thing. Pete, you're always going to be the good guy. I'm always going to be the bad guy. So you got to realize that. You're always the good guy. I'm always the bad guy. But I do apologize. This is something that just irritates the shit out of me, okay? And especially because I was threatened. People threatened me this week to kill me. I was threatened to be killed. They put my address on social media, okay? They threatened to kill me because I supported this officer. That's where our country is. We'll see us next week, and we'll take on any case there is. Love you all.
Have a good night.
Do the cash walk, do the cash walk. Hey, I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your collar, twist your wrist, do the cash walk. I'm dropping dollars while you're wishing on a scratch off. My hollow mama list, she just hit the jackpot. I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your collar.